Your tank is showing you warning signs right now. Most of them are easy to miss. And by the time most hobbyists notice something is wrong, they've already lost fish they can't get back. This video is the one you watch before that happens. Here's the thing about aquarium emergencies. They almost never announce themselves. The crash that destroys a tank in 24 hours was building silently for days before you saw anything wrong. The fish that died overnight was showing you signs yesterday. You just didn't know what to look for. Today, I'm going through 6 tank emergencies, what causes them, how to spot them before they go critical, and the exact fix for each one. I'm saving number 5 for last. It's the emergency that looks the most like everything is fine. The water is clear, the fish are swimming, the filter is running, and the tank is heading toward a total crash. Most hobbyists who experience it don't even know what happened until they're starting over from scratch. Subscribe right now if you want aquarium content that actually prepares you for this stuff, not just tells you what fish to buy. Let's go. One thing before the emergencies. Every crisis on this list has a window, a period between when the problem starts and when it becomes irreversible. The difference between saving your tank and losing everything is almost always whether you acted inside that window. These fixes work, but only if you use them in time. Emergency 1, temperature spike. Summer, no AC, a warm afternoon, and a tank that climbs from 76 degrees to 86 degrees while you're at work. Here's what most people don't understand about heat emergencies. The temperature itself is not what kills your fish first. Oxygen is. Hot water holds dramatically less dissolved oxygen than cool water. Your fish can be in genuine respiratory distress, struggling, gasping, while the thermometer only reads a few degrees above normal. What not to do? Dump ice cubes directly into the tank. Ice cubes contain chlorine from your tap. They also melt so fast they create a sudden temperature shock that can be as lethal as the heat itself. What to do? Fill a plastic water bottle with clean water and freeze it solid. Float it in the tank. It cools the water slowly and evenly. No shock, no chemicals, no chlorine. For tanks over 30 gallons, rotate 2 or 3 bottles to see meaningful temperature movement. Do this right now. Put 2 bottles of water in your freezer before you finish this video. Not because your tank is in trouble today, because the day it is in trouble, you will not have time to wait for ice. Emergency 2, ammonia spike. Cycle crash. Ammonia is the silent poison. You cannot see it, you cannot smell it, and by the time your fish are showing visible symptoms, red-streaked fins, labored breathing, hovering near the surface, the water has already been toxic for hours. The causes are everywhere. An overfed tank, a dead fish you didn't find for 2 days, new substrate added to an established tank, a filter that ran dry, anything that disrupts the bacterial colony processing your nitrogen cycle. The immediate fix? Terrestrial plants. This is one of the most underused emergency tools in the hobby. Most aquatic plants feed primarily on nitrate, the final, less toxic stage of the nitrogen cycle. Terrestrial plants, pothos, peace lily, even a strawberry plant in a pinch, feed directly on ammonia and nitrite. The dangerous stuff. The stuff that's killing your fish right now. Remove the plant from its pot. Wash every trace of soil off the roots under running water. Hang it so only the roots are submerged. Within hours, those roots begin pulling ammonia directly out of your water column. The caveat: this is an emergency tool, not a permanent solution. Terrestrial plants grow so aggressively they will eventually outcompete your aquatic plants for nutrients. Use them until your ammonia reads 0, then remove them and return them to a pot. They are a bridge, not a destination. Long-term, identify the source of the spike and address it. The plant buys you time. The source removal solves the problem. Emergency 3. Algae bloom, tank takeover. An algae bloom that's reached crash level. Green water so thick you can't see your fish. Hair algae smothering every plant surface. Cyanobacteria coating your substrate in a blue-green film. Looks like a chemistry problem. It isn't. It's a light problem. And the fix is to remove all the light. Completely. This is called a blackout, and when it's done correctly, it kills algae that nothing in a bottle can touch. How to do it correctly. Turn off your lights, then wrap the entire tank, sides, top, front, in thick blankets or cardboard. No gaps, no ambient room light, no window light, total darkness. Leave it wrapped for 3 to 4 days. Do not feed your fish during this period. Do not open the blanket to check. Your plants have stored energy reserves that will sustain them through several days of darkness. The algae does not. Algae is biologically primitive compared to your plants. It cannot maintain itself without constant light input. After 72 to 96 hours of complete darkness, the algae dies. When you remove the blankets, you'll see it has turned white or gray. Your cleanup crew can finish it off. Important exception. Black-beard algae does not respond to blackouts. BBA can slow its metabolism and survive in darkness longer than your plants can. For BBA, remove what you can by hand, reduce water flow, and introduce Siamese algae eaters or Florida flagfish who will actually eat it. For everything else, 3 days of complete darkness is the most effective algae treatment available, and it costs nothing. Emergency 4. Oxygen crash. Fish gasping at the surface is one of the most alarming sights in the hobby, and it has more causes than most people realize. CO2 regulator failure, dumping too much gas, displacing oxygen. Overheated water losing oxygen retention. A large water change using stagnant reservoir water that was naturally low in dissolved oxygen before it went in. All of these produce the same symptom. Fish at the surface. Labored breathing. Time running out. If you have an air pump, connect it immediately. The surface agitation from an air stone increases gas exchange faster than any other method available to you. This is why experienced hobbyists keep an air pump on hand, even in planted tanks where conventional advice says you don't need one. If you don't have an air pump, lower your water level by 2 to 3 inches, so your filter outflow crashes down onto the surface rather than flowing in beneath it. The impact disturbs surface tension, forces gas exchange, and brings oxygen back into the water column. It also breaks up the surface oil film that further reduces gas exchange. This mechanical fix takes 30 seconds. It has saved tanks. And after this video, buy an air pump. Keep it in a drawer. Hope you never need it. The day you do, you will not regret having it. 4 emergencies down. Before the last 2, including the one I promised at the beginning, because the follow-up to this video is the complete emergency kit guide. Every piece of equipment to have on hand before a crisis hits. The first 4 emergencies on this list are visible. Temperature you can read on a thermometer. Ammonia you can test. Algae you can see with your eyes. Gasping fish are impossible to miss. The last 2 are different. One starts with something you did with the best intentions. Number 5 shows no symptoms at all until your tank is already in serious trouble. Clear water, active fish, everything looking normal, and a crash building underneath it. Emergency 5, new plant contamination. You bought a beautiful new plant. It looked perfect at the store. You acclimated it carefully. You placed it exactly where you wanted it. 2 weeks later, snail eggs are hatching across your substrate. Black beard algae is spreading from the contaminated stems, and planaria are visible in the water column. Every one of those hitchhikers came in on that plant. The fix most people use, bleach dip, is almost as dangerous as the problem. Bleach concentration is difficult to control precisely. The margin for error is narrow, and the consequences of getting it wrong are permanent. The safer method: CO2 quarantine with club soda. Buy a bottle of unflavored, sugar-free club soda. The more carbonated, the better. Rinse your new plants gently in aquarium water to remove loose debris. Place them in a sealed container, a Ziploc bag or a Tupperware with a tight lid. Pour the club soda over them until fully submerged. Seal immediately to trap the CO2. Leave it for 12 hours. The high CO2 environment is lethal to snail eggs, planaria, and most pest organisms, including black beard algae, which almost nothing else kills effectively. Your plants will not be harmed. CO2 is the primary nutrient they need. They don't just survive this process. They arrive in your tank healthier than they went in. After 12 hours, rinse in dechlorinated water. Add to your tank. Clean, pest-free every time. Start doing this with every new plant before it touches your tank water. One contaminated plant that isn't quarantined can undo months of work. Emergency 6. The silent crash. pH collapse. This is the one that ends tanks while everything looks fine. Here's what happens. Over time, through fish respiration, plant decay, and the natural acidification of the nitrogen cycle, your tank's pH gradually drops. Slowly, silently, 1/10 of a point at a time. Your fish are adaptive. They adjust to the slow change without obvious distress. Their behavior doesn't alarm you. The water stays clear, but their immune systems are running under constant stress. Their metabolism is compromised. Their ability to fight disease is diminished. And then one morning, you do a water change with your tap water, which has a much higher pH than your tank has drifted to. The sudden shift, not the low pH itself, but the rapid change, sends your fish into pH shock. Fast-moving, often fatal, and completely invisible until the water change triggers it. How to prevent it? Test your pH weekly, not monthly. Weekly. How to fix a dropping pH safely. Crushed coral in a media bag in your filter. It dissolves slowly in acidic water, buffering pH upward at a rate your fish can adjust to. No sudden chemistry swings. No dangerous additives. For emergency pH stabilization during a crash, a 25% water change with properly pH-matched and temperature-matched water, repeated over 24 hours rather than all at once. Slow is safe. Fast is lethal. Test before every water change, because the change itself, going from your tank's drifted pH into your tap water's pH, is the trigger most people never see coming. 6 emergencies. A temperature spike that suffocates before it overheats. An ammonia crash that terrestrial plants can pull you through if you act fast enough. An algae takeover that 3 days of darkness can kill. Oxygen deprivation that a filter adjustment can fix in 30 seconds. Plant contamination that club soda quarantine prevents entirely. And a pH collapse that builds invisibly for weeks before one water change triggers the ending. None of them are hopeless. All of them have a window. The difference between the hobbyist who loses a tank they loved and the one who catches it in time is almost never skill. It's almost always preparation. The frozen bottle in the freezer, the air pump in the drawer, the weekly